Hi, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is Lemon Lavender Lane from Celestial Seasonings, which I've had on this channel very often. But it's just a nice peaceful tea that I'm almost at the end of, but never fear because I have more teas coming apparently. Well, actually they're here, so I'm going to show them to you. I'm wearing the hat because I'm doing what I call a tea mystery. It's not a review really. It's just that I had a big pickup from the library. So it's library book haul, and of the 6 books I picked up last week, 5 of them were mysteries. One of them was not, so I'm not showing them in this haul because I'm making a tea mystery. And one of them turns out to be the last of a series, which is kind of a mess because, or trilogy or whatever, because yeah, now I have to get the other ones out first. But whatever, that does happen sometimes to me when I'm not thinking very straight sometimes. I'm going to show you first some teas I bought. This is the tea part of the tea and mystery, and there was a Boxing Day sale in a British tea company, and which I probably would have ignored, but they also had free shipping, so I was like, well, giddy up. And I didn't get too much. Boxing Day really isn't observed here, but I think maybe also Canada and elsewhere, but not in the United States, but I'm happy to take advantage of sales. First of all, I'll show you a couple of samples they sent me, which I always love when they send samples. This one is called Moji Tea, which is a super refreshing blend of green tea, peppermint, and lime, which I could be in the mood for one day. I don't think I would especially go out for that because I already have similar types of things, you know, but I might get in the mood for that one day. And then this is Builder's Breakfast Brew. Now, I think Builder's Breakfast means because Builders, that's not really an expression we use too much where I'm at anyway. But I know it refers to like construction workers and everything. And so I am deducing that that a tea called Builders means that it's a nice, strong, hearty tea. Now, I know that it's strong because I have bought Builder's tea before. There's a shop called Myers of Keswick down in Manhattan that I've sometimes when I bought tea from my office, you know, just to have a nice, strong breakfast tea. You know, I'll shop at different places, and that at that point I got Builder's tea. And I remember it being strong. So that's what this has to be, right? So anyway, I ordered 2 teas. They're both chais of a sort, and I know I have like I bought a wedding chai recently, which is a rooibos chai from Alice's Teacup, and I have a couple other things that are kind of chai, and I know I'm a little bit purist when it comes to chai. Like I prefer the way they make it, you know, like in India with the specific spices and whatever made a certain way. But I can always have a few loose blends that just sound kind of good over maybe syrups and stuff like that, or like powdery powders, you know. So these are my exceptions. The first one is a caffeinated one, which is milk oolong chai. Milk oolong basically means that it's a creamy oolong taste-ish. So this is Taiwanese oolong, ginger, cinnamon, cardamom, cocoa shells, and chili. So another one with cocoa in it, which I wasn't really thinking anyway. But I think I might like this. It is luxuriously creamy and spiced, so if I'm in the mood for luxury, creamy, and spiced tea, that could be good. And then this one just sounded kind of fun. Banana bread chai. This is the rooibos. It lightly toasted banana bread chai with a dollop of butter. It has rooibos, cinnamon, ginger, freeze-dried banana, so actual banana, cardamom, vanilla pieces, natural flavoring with a U because it's British, you know. And yeah, I can't wait to try this. Maybe I'll have it one day on the channel. We'll see. So I thought, yeah, I might as well just include that with my library haul. Yes, so there are a number of types of libraries in New York City. There are 5 boroughs and I think 3 different kinds of libraries. I think the New York Public Library includes Manhattan, probably Roosevelt Island, which is not a borough, it's just a little island, and has a lighthouse, and the Bronx, and I'm pretty sure Staten Island. And then there's the Brooklyn Public Library, which I never get a chance to go to. Well, I passed by one once back in 2019, twice 2019, but since then, no. And then the Queens, which normally would be the one that I'd be closest to, but the one closest to me has been closed, and the closest now that is open is like a 20-minute walk out of my way. If I needed to, I would rely on it, but I don't need to. And the New York Public Library, there's a branch open near where I work, so I go in once a week. It works for me. But usually it's like a couple of books ready for me. And then 1 or 2 weeks went by without really anything. And then suddenly 6 books. And I was like, oh man, but I already have so much to read. And then I was like, well, that's how I am. So what are you going to do? And like I said, a lot of these are not only mysteries, but cozies. And I like cozies. I've just been in such a mood for them lately. And this one is just such a typical sized, book of mysteries. And it goes right back to my roots, as it were, in the mid 90s, early to mid 90s, when I first became a cat person, because we had a cat in my family. I started incorporating that into my reading by getting cat mysteries, basically mysteries where someone has a cat. Usually the cat somehow helps solve the crime, but it depends on the situation. Sometimes the cat is just there and like knocks something over, who knows. But this is a Cat in the Stacks mystery, so we got cats and books. So Murder Past Due by Miranda James. Look at this kitty cat, and look at that phone. You can tell it's about 10 years old or so. That computer looks even older. Those books look amazing. So let's read it. Everyone in Athena, Mississippi, knows Charlie Harris, the good-natured librarian with a rescued Maine Coon cat named Diesel, that he walks on a leash. I have seen people walk cats on leashes. It's a talent. Charlie's returned to his hometown to immerse himself in books. I mean, who wouldn't? But soon enough, he's entangled in a real-life thriller. A famous author of gory bestsellers and a former classmate of Charlie's, Godfrey Priest may be the pride of Athena, but Charlie remembers him as an arrogant and manipulative jerk. And he's not the only one. Godfrey's homecoming as a distinguished alumnus couldn't possibly go worse. By lunch, he's put a man in a hospital, and by dinner, Godfrey's dead. Well, that was a fun little reunion. Now it's up to Charlie, with some help from Diesel, to paw through the town's grudges and find the killer before an impatient deputy throws the book at the wrong person, as they do. But every last one of Charlie's friends and coworkers had a score to settle with a nasty novelist, as if the murder wasn't already perplexing enough. I have to be in the mood for this, but I think I might enjoy it. It's got cats, it has books, it's a murder mystery. That could be nice. I don't know. Probably will be a quick read too. And then, well, this one is not new to me in terms of this series. You probably, if you've watched my Tea and Mysteries recently, you've seen this ad nauseum. I just, anything with Sherlock Holmes, hello. And, bookshops and tea. There's also tea usually in these books, and, murder mysteries. It's a good combination. So the Sherlock Holmes bookshop mystery series takes place in West London, Cape Cod. I always want to say Connecticut. Gemma Doyle is kind of like the Sherlock Holmes. She observes things that other people don't. She's not an actual detective, but she tends to be able to solve crimes. People just die all around her. That's just how it works in these situations. So this is, I don't know if it's the latest one, but it's the latest one I found on the library hold, and it's what I'm up to. And that's There's a Murder Afoot. Vicky Delaney. It's got a dog. Looks like some kind of terrier, I don't know, with a hat on. Yep. And so this one takes place in actual London. So in probably early 2020, because that's when it comes out. And, probably the last chance that you could get back there without, having to deal with all the issues of right now. Excuse me. So, the 6th of January is Sherlock Holmes' birthday, which was largely ignored this year, of course. And lucky for Gemma Doyle, January is also the slowest time of the year at both the Sherlock Holmes bookshop and emporium and Mrs. Hudson's tea room. Books and tea and books. It's a good time for Gemma and her friends to travel to England for a Holmes convention. I'm skipping a few lines because there's a spoiler in here in case you were reading the beginning of the series. But the trip is immediately derailed when Gemma's father, Henry, recognizes his brother-in-law, Randolph Denhaw, who disappeared more than 30 years ago on the night he stole a valuable painting from his own parents. Henry, a retired detective with Scotland Yard, has been keeping tabs on the man's career as a forger of old masters, and he warns Randy to stay away from his family. But when Randy is found dead after the banquet, with a dazed and confused Henry Doyle standing over him, the police leap to assume his guilt. It's up to Gemma, with the help of her friends, to plunge into the lowest and vilest alleys of London to save her father from prison. So it has London. And it's weird how they would leap to conclude that someone who worked in Scotland Yard would be a murderer, but it's got to keep the story going. I'm up to it, and I'm happy that I have that. Now, this one is also the first one of a series that I've ever read of this series. Yeah. The Secret Book and Scone Society. There's no comma after the book, but inside I noticed that there was one. These are scones. I think this is called Cornwall style? Cornish style, whatever you call it, when it's the jam first. Because I know I do the cream first with the jam, which I think is Devon style. You know, whatever you like, right? That's how I am. This is by Ellery Adams, and so I will read you the description. Miracle Springs, North Carolina, is a place of healing. Strangers flock here hoping the natural hot spring, sounds like that, 5-star cuisine and renowned spa can cure their ills. Yeah. If none of that works, they often find their way to Miracle Books, where, over a fresh-baked comfort scone from the gingerbread house bakery, they exchange their stories with owner Nora Pennington in return for a carefully chosen book. That's Nora's special talent, prescribing the perfect novel to ease a person's deepest pain and lighten their heaviest burden. When a visiting businessman reaches out to Nora for guidance, she knows exactly which novels will help, because she does. But before he can keep their appointment at Miracle Books, he's found dead on the train tracks. Everybody's stunned. Nora forms the Secret, Book, and Scone Society, a group of damaged souls yearning to gain trust and earn redemption by helping others. To join the society, members must divulge their darkest secret, the terrible truth that brought each of them to Miracle Springs in the first place. I need to know how dark these secrets are. Anyway. Determined to uncover the truth behind the businessman's demise, the women meet in Nora's cramped and cozy bookstore to share stories and trade support. That's kind of fun. And as they untangle a web of corruption, they also discover their own courage, purpose, and a sisterhood that will carry them through every challenge, proving it's never too late to turn the page and start over. This could be nice. Sounds cozy. We'll see. It's got scones and books. Okay, so this is the one I mentioned that I got out of order, and so I will probably just have to, because I started reading the it's very hard to read, by the way, right? I think this might be YA or middle grade, I'm not really sure, which is okay. Maybe I can wait till March to read it then. But this is A Question of Holmes. Is the Real World Ready for Watson and Holmes by Brittany Cavallaro? Anyway, it's a Sherlock Holmes novel, you know, a little variation on Sherlock Holmes. But I want to read it, but now I have to get the first, I think, 2, because I think this is the 3rd. Yikes. So we'll put this one to the side for now. But, you know. And then this last one is a novel, which is a subject that I've always had a bit of interest in. Well, I don't know about always, but ever since I heard about it. And that's The Mystery of Mrs. Christie by Marie Benedict, which she's also the author of The Only Woman in the Room. And I don't think I've read anything else of hers. Lady Clementine sounds good. The Other Einstein, Carnegie's Maid. I've heard of Carnegie's Maid, but I don't think I've ever read it. She lives in Pittsburgh with her family. Okay, so this is a novel, but it's based on the disappearance of Agatha Christie, which most people who have learned anything about Agatha Christie's life at all have probably heard about this situation that happened. She started publishing her famous Poirot mysteries in 1920, I think it was. And then from then on, she was a highly successful writer. And later on in the decade, her husband wanted to get divorced. He wanted to marry someone else. Was it a secretary or somebody? Something like that. And, you know, that's obviously devastating. Especially if you don't see it coming. But I mean, that's just, you know, not a great situation for anybody. And around this time, Agatha Christie disappeared for like 3 days. And it's still kind of a mystery as to what happened. So I guess that's what this book is going to cover. And I'm here for it, as they say. I had heard about it previously, but I became more interested in, of course, from the Doctor Who episode, a very silly episode, but still a good one, in the David Tennant era, when he and Donna Noble travel to England in the 1920s, and they realize it's around the time that Agatha Christie disappears, and Agatha Christie is at this party that they show up at. And of course, all kinds of strange things start happening. So they have their own little explanation of what happened. I've seen other films that try to explain that. I've seen what was it, Drunk History, that did their own version of it, and they showed that other people were trying to figure things out, like Conan Doyle. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was trying to solve the mystery of her disappearance. Dorothy Sayers of the Lord Peter Wimsey novels, which I quite like too, and. Yeah, I don't think it, she basically went to her grave without really saying what happened. But there may be indications of what happened. There may be some clues. She shows up days later. I think it was at a hotel. And I like anything related to that. So I have my reading, cut out for me. And this is beyond all the other books that I'm reading and have out from the library. I can't even pick it up. So, but at least one of them I could put to the side because it's out of order. I'm still interested in it though. Anything related to Sherlock Holmes, even if it's a variation, I'm pretty much okay with, So that's all for now. Please let me know if you've read any of these things, of course, without giving away spoilers. Let me know how you've been doing with your libraries. Have you been going to the library at all? Have you been checking things out? Or maybe you're checking out ebooks. Maybe you're not at all going to your libraries. Yeah, and I'm happy to hear of any of your hauls lately. And of course, if you have any videos up of recent hauls, let me know. If you like talking about mysteries, you like talking about tea, etc., please subscribe. And thank you for my recent subscribers. That's very lovely of you. So this has been Taking Tea with Catherine, Tea and Mystery. Have a lovely tea and book-filled day. Goodbye.